Roddick, number 2 in the world, 22 years of age, bouncing back from that quarterfinal loss at the U.S. Open with impressive play in Davis Cup competition. The rundown on Safin, number 9 on the computer, 8 in the Champions race, which is the calendar year calculation. He's been hot lately. 9 straight victories, one in Beijing 2 weeks ago, beating his countryman Usni to pick up career title number 12. Opened the year in sharp fashion, reaching the Australian Open finals, losing to Federer, and Roddick knows that sensation. Head-to-head, Federer with a 7-1 edge over Andy, who's had a very impressive year. 69 wins, most victories on tour this season. 4 titles coming: San Jose, Miami Masters, Queens Club, Wimbledon tune-up, and victorious in Indianapolis. 2 other finals appearances. But as he looks back on recent competition, still stinging from that quarterfinal defeat to Joachim Johansson at the U.S. Open, but did defend the honor of his country in Davis Cup play, beating Belarus. We were touching on the distinction between the overall entry rankings, the computer in tennis parlance, and this rundown, the Champions race, and the top 8 that you saw will qualify for the Masters Cup in Houston. 4 bids locked up: Federer, Roddick, Hewitt, winner of that event twice, and Gaston Gaudio, based on his French Open win. Safin, you might have saw, although that was a fleeting statistic, currently number 8, trying to play his way into the season-ending championship. Safin, so much talent, and he is very candid in saying the determining factor in his game is the mental approach, because think back to when he burst upon the scene and grabbed a championship, much like that when he beat Pete Sampras at the U.S. Open, although the hardware not as gaudy in Flushing Meadows as what we're seeing in Bangkok. That trophy presented by the King of Thailand, His Majesty, granting the King's Cup, and you saw how bedazzled that was. Roddick hopes to grab a piece of that in tomorrow's final, which will bring you on the Tennis Channel. He'll rely on that booming serve, got it up to 155 in Davis Cup play. Steve Ulrich from the United States officiating this one. And Roddick looking down the road to the Davis Cup final for the U.S. against Spain, which will be on clay in Seville, if you speak Spanish. Trying to work on our multicultural approach here on the Tennis Channel. This should be such a terrific matchup to watch in terms of who can outmuscle the opponent, because both of these competitors can crank it up with the huge serve and the vicious ground strokes. In case you missed the earlier activity, Roger Federer severely tested after leading 5-2 in the first set against the 4 seed Paradon Srijapan, and they were on serve in the third. And as you see, Federer able to get through just the second time this year. The top 4 seeds have made it to the semifinals, and it's been a very entertaining event so far in Bangkok. 10,000 fans on hand. They were extremely intense, cheering on the man from Thailand in Srijapan, but they should have many opportunities to erupt in this matchup, because these fellas can attack the ball. Head-to-head, some history between our participants. Safin, the 2-1 edge. They've split this year. Roddick winning the round of 32 at Indian Wells, just outside Palm Springs in Southern California, but Safin with the more marquee victory, opening the year with a quarterfinal win over Roddick at the Australian Open, coming back to win that in 5 after yielding the first sets in Melbourne, and Safin winning a few years back in Los Angeles as well. So Roddick can't be thinking too far ahead, but you know in his heart of hearts certainly wants another crack at Federer based on what Roger has done to him recently. And then it's the mercurial one, Safin, to borrow a line from our colleague Murphy Jensen. He calls him the madman, and I think that's an accurate moniker because Safin has so much tennis ability. It all depends on where he is mentally. Lost his opening round matches in both Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, and then has rebounded nicely as of late, putting it all together a few weeks back in Beijing as we wrap up things on this Asian portion of the ATP year before it all happens on the carpet indoors as things point towards the Masters Cup in Houston. To call this match, Dave Biggs and Vijay Armitage.
Oh, that fell in. Sliced return. Just caught the line. So, you think these guys can play soccer? Well, they've proven. Yeah, point number 2. A couple of nice volleys with the feet. An opportunity here for Marat Safin. Scott Roddick down 15-30 in the opening game. Well, Andy Roddick has left Brad Gilbert, his coach, at home. It's over 200 kilometres an hour, that first serve. American has come to Bangkok with only his agent. And a first serve ace down the tee. After being in trouble early on, he holds serve.
Brian Weber back with you. A reminder, the final comes your way Sunday, 6 a.m. Eastern. Very early breakfast from Bangkok. Federer is waiting. The winner of this matchup, Safin and Roddick. It's only on the Tennis Channel, and fittingly, Roddick with the ace to open the match, perhaps foreshadowing much more of what we should see in this battle.
Yes, just inside the baseline. Long, late call. Now Safin finds himself in trouble on his serve. Down love 30. Well, I hope you get a slow-mo of that backhand. You see that occasionally, Vijay, where he gets off the ground, leaps in the air. There you go.
Well, incredible body weight into that backhand. Attacks the net off that two-hander.
Good fight back here by Marat Safin.
So that error of the forehand from the Russian. This one he had a setup here, but this error gives Andy Roddick a break point. That ball fell right on the line, and the linesman called it wide. Here's the lob. Bang on the line, wasn't it? Steve Ullrich quickly correcting the linesperson.
Good overall. Still break point for Roddick. Shake of the head by Safin.
I love his comments though.
Dry sense of humour.
Oh, he had a look at the backhand pass, Roddick. Shanked the backhand as Safin still continues a dialogue with Steve Ullrich in the chair.
Wide by Andy Roddick. So he's been made to work hard this game. Marat Safin now has a game point. Of course, his stellar season was 2000, where he won 7 titles, including the US Open.
Yes, well played. A trick again there for Marat Safin. Break point and an overrule, but managed to hold on.
When you look at the last couple of years, Vijay, you've had occasions where players have gone through dominant periods of a season, and Safin was the man in 2000. Obviously, Federer is the man in 2004. An incredible changing of the guard from the Pete Sampras era.
Absolutely. Interesting, of course, we all remember the one man that Sampras lost to in his run at Wimbledon was Roger Federer.
Love 15.
Yes, pressing the Roddick backhand, Safin. Well, he relies heavily on the serve, Roddick. There it is, that one at 220 kilometers per hour, the fastest of the tournament.
15-30. Yeah, 30 off.
Oh. Fast and accurate.
Well, in trouble at love 30 and 3 bullet-like first serves. 214 kilometres an hour, so he can certainly wind it up, Andy Roddick. Well, he likes fast serving, fast cars and everything fast. He holds serve and leads 2-1.
Seats, please. Thank you.
Just under. Over 3 minutes of that, one in 2000. Turned pro in 1997.
Left. 15 off.
Fine service down the middle.
30-15.
Nice easy motion from Safin. Yeah, well done. Opened up the court to the forehand cross court.
15.
That's the one that did the damage, and then catches the backhand early to get in.
Game
First
7.
serve, and that's a good way to close it out for Marit Safin. 2-all.
2 games on.
First set. You mentioned Andy Roddick's passage to the Thailand Open, VJ. He defeated Belarus, the United States, in the semi-finals of the Davis Cup. They meet Spain, and you must credit Andy Roddick, whose career prize money is just beyond $7 million, for a bit of a spike of interest amongst the US players in Davis Cup play. They haven't won since 1995.
Yes, I think it's a great moment for them.
15 left.
I think they play
Spain.
in Spain.
Yep. Which you would presume would be on slow clay.
Yeah, and of course, good pass. The Spaniards have about 45 players who can play Davis Cup.
Yeah.
15 off.
But he's very passionate about representing his country, Andy Roddick.
Which is a terrific thing from a player.
Was the reason he missed last year's Thailand Open. Just picked up an injury in a Davis Cup match before he was scheduled to leave for Bangkok.
40-15.
Late call, but there was a pause there from Roddick.
Huge ace down the tee. And that's a pretty useful way to go out. 3-2 he leads in the first set.
2 as these heavyweights feel each other out at the outset.
Good serve down the middle. Comes down from a pretty good height, this service. So you can't really read the serve down the tee or the wide one. Fine serve.
30 love.
94 from Safin.
Roddick leading in the ace count, 4-2. Big first serve, so they are trading blows here in the first set.
Well, if you can do it, I can do it.
Game's on.
That's the feeling in this match. But they really haven't had many long points just yet.
We thought it was going to be an arm wrestle, and it looks like it will go according to script.
15 love.
First service ace, and I noticed your son Prakash, who you obviously coach, Vijay, was hitting up with Andy Roddick before his singles match. Any mail from the court?
Well, Prakash said he had a good hit, and I said, I said, yes, what did you expect? And yesterday he also hit with Safin, and he felt that Safin's ground strokes were very heavy from the back court. Yeah. That certainly to the reaction there when Roddick missing the forehand. But it's great for Prakash because he has a chance to play with all of these guys, and it's a great experience for him.
Of course, Marat Safin reached the Australian Open final. Lost to Roger Federer in straight sets, but he, along the way, beat Andy Roddick and Andre Agassi in the quarters and semis, respectively, both in 5 sets. So it certainly marked a return by Marat Safin in the Grand Slams.
Absolutely. And of course, he had that injury problem the 1 year, so he's made a remarkable comeback, remarkable recovery.
You don't use red, right?
Well, no wonder they pound the ball so hard. One's lost a bit of shape and air. There was a crack in the ball. That's exactly what Andy Roddick was telling the umpire. The umpire probably says something like, I'm not surprised.
Well, then stop hitting it so hard.
40, 30.
Roddick with a game point.
Game Roddick.
Safely held, and the A-Rod
Roddick leads 4 games to 3.
has a 4-3 lead. .22 minutes old, this semi-final. Safin serving with new balls. Trails 3-4.
Little sluggish getting to that ball, Roddick.
Someone asked me the other day, VJ, what does it mean to serve with new balls as far as the extra speed from the old balls? And I said I'd ask you.
Well, it's clearly a lighter ball.
Are we talking 10 kilometres faster off the serve when you have the advantage of new balls?
Well, yes, I would say at least 10 kilometers faster, and also it feels much better off the racket. You feel you can direct it better. There's no moisture on the ball. It doesn't fluff up as much. And on courts like this, where after a few games it can really get a little rough and fluffy, you know, it's very, very hard on your arm as soon as you make contact. So new balls is a great feeling. And of course, indoors it makes it also a little more humid usually. But that's why at the US Open, when it gets very humid, the ball goes through the air quicker.
It is quite muggy in here today at the Impact Arena. Safin.
It's a full house.
Yeah. Controlling this service game. Volley, and you don't want to be giving Andy Roddick too many sights of a break point. Hustling to the back of the court by Narad Safin, and he levels at 4 games all. First set. You mentioned about the court, VJ. Peter Rooney, I was having a chat to the operations manager of this event, and if you remember the Thailand Open from last year, well, the court has changed colour. The reason being, he came up with some spare paint, mixed a little bit together with the blue, and got a form of what he calls dusty grey.
Well, Safin coming in beautifully off the approach shot there. This one kept low, but Safin sliding it cross court, and then the winning volley. It's long. The Russian has a bit of a look here on the Roddick serve. Love 30.
Big
Huge second serve, wasn't it? But he goes after it, you know, even when he's in trouble. Andy Roddick has the confidence to go after that second serve. Well played.
On that occasion, VJ just took a bit of pace off the first serve and went for direction.
Well, the kicker out wide is always a good one. You close in tight inside the service line, and then even though he didn't put the first one away, he had a comfortable getaway on the second one.
Well, it was in the hitting zone for Safin. As Roddick gets his nose in front in this all-important 9th game. Or costly double. Things tighten up a little bit for the world #2. tight.
Advantage Roddick.
Over 200 kilometres an hour, smack down the tee. Brings up another game point.
Oh, I say. Always dangerous on the running forehand.
Yes.
And Safin delivers this forehand beautifully. On the dead run, the winner from the back court.
Advantage Roddick.
You know, by the time you have time to think about the fact that you're at deuce or break point, down comes the ace.
He does that to you. Good second serve too. So a threat there has been alleviated there by Andy Roddick. Holds to lead 5-4.
Knows what it is to play Andy Roddick. Safin is a little bit more of an unknown quantity for Federer and a little more dangerous, I think.
15 left.
But mind you, Safin has been in fine form, having, of course, won the China Open in Beijing, coming in here and being very convincing in getting to the semi-final. Struggle here on Andy Roddick's face, clearly seen. Good serve.
Edging over 200 kilometres an hour from Safin. 202. 7 aces to 4. Roddick still leads the count. Oh, brilliant backhand. It wasn't that bad a return either. Just took the backhand early and snapped it across court. 5-all first set.
So really, so far, nothing much to choose between these two former US Open champions.
High hopes for Roddick at the US Open, VJ. He's bundled out at the quarterfinal stage.
Joachim Johansson, another big hitter of the ball, and there were a few of us who called that match, but that was going to be a 50-50 match. Johansson has got the kind of game that can trouble Roddick.
No coming back from that smash. As Roddick races to a 40-love lead. So no cracks appearing in this service game for the A-Rod.
Well, just jerking that forehand pull a bit more than usual, Roddick. That comes from just not being at the ball quite enough. Oh. Got a hold of it.
40-30.
So, beautiful winner here from A Safin forehand.
Game Roddick.
The challenge withstood by Andy Roddick. So this
Roddick leads 6
first
games
set
to
looks
5.
like it's going to a tie-break.
Fine approach shot here. Andy Roddick way behind the baseline to attempt to pass. Good serve.
30 love.
Oh.
It's exactly what Safin did to Roddick in the previous game.
30,
It's a bit of medicine back.
Using the pace of the server there. He liked that one, didn't he?
Good kicking second serve.
40-15.
Doesn't mind chatting to himself, Andy Roddick. Say some pretty outrageous things to himself as well. I noticed that courtside the other day. Like they get in a world of their own, VJ.
Absolutely. Some of the comments actually are very interesting. Big point for Safin. Doesn't want to really be too tough in the service game as he gets into a tiebreak. Oh yes, caught that ball early and guided it up the line beautifully. So after 38 minutes, 39 minutes rather, it's now 6 games all in this opening set. And really very little to choose between these two players so far.
Both have played the big points quite well. Now it gets down to a slight roll of the dice situation. Some luck can also always play a part in these tie breaks.
Bit of a snap there on the forehand, as you saw him telling himself. Good roll on these, and then came through that a little too soon.
Just missing for the first serve. Frustration setting in now for Now it's Safin.
2-0, Roddick.
Costly unforced error. It's a mini break.
So now this becomes a really crucial test for Safin. Yes, good time to throw in an ace. So just the one
Roddick.
mini break behind.
No, that's a blistering passing shot by Andy Roddick.
Well, I'm not quite sure Safin chose the right spot to come in on off this approach shot. He went cross court. It was a bit short. Roddick got a hold of it, and he had plenty of time and room to make the pass. So 3-1 up, the mini break in hand.
And that's a very, very good follow-up. Substantiating the break.
Roddick.
A nice cushion in this tie break for Andy Roddick. 8 aces to 5. Remember, he served 21 in the semi-final victory for Thomas Johansson.
Yes, and then the error from Safin. 2 forehand errors gives Andy Roddick a 5-1 lead as they change ends. But you can see the reaction from Safin as he misses the forehand. Well, glad he held on to it. But the American now with the commanding lead in this first set tiebreak, 5-1.
He's made the backhand. Taken way out of court, Andy Roddick, after a tremendous rally. And that was a marvellous passing shot.
Well, certainly the point. What a great pickup here by Safin and a marvellous lob.
Roddick.
Didn't think it was in Safin, so he didn't come back into court. But look at Andy Roddick flicking this backhand up the line. And then, what about that, Thailand?
Take that. A bunch of set points now. It needs only one. So that's a way to tighten out, close out the first set for Andy Roddick in 45 minutes. Takes the advantage.
Brian Weber back with you. Both players needing to take a breather after what was a very entertaining first set. No breaks. It went to the tie break, and then Roddick wrapped it up emphatically, 7-1. The 8th-point ace to take the set after that brilliant exchange on the 7th point. Both players showing off their court coverage as we take a peek at the first set highlights, and not unexpectedly, both Roddick and Safin revealing the basis of their games, and that's power. Huge serves, shots like that by the former world's #1, matchup of former U.S. Open champions. Both doing their part recently in Davis Cup play. Safin preserving Russia's spot in the world group, beating Paradon, Sri Japan, and Thailand, and the United States taking care of Belarus to move through to the Cup final against Spain. And that's the point we were alluding to. And touchdown, Andy Roddick. He takes the first set 7-6. Back to David and Vijay.
Open up the second set.
15 love.
Well, he really needs to put himself together for the early part of the second set. That's the crucial point for Safin. Keep his nose in front with holding serve.
God damn it.
30-15.
Well, he's telling himself the same thing. So far behind the baseline, how do you expect to get it over?
Guided wide.
40-15.
So a nice cushion for Safin in this opening game of the second set. Good work at the net by the big Russian. It's 1-love
Game, second set.
with Roddick holding a 1-sets-to-love lead. And there's the first set statistics.
Well, look at that. We're talking about the service percentages. It's up in the 60s for both of them. 68% for Roddick. That's very, very high. 9 aces to Safin's 5. 2 double faults for Andy. None for Safin. So it's been a very even first set, of course.
15 love.
Caught the edge of the line. Roddick got past the Britt Palmer in the first round. It was a lucky loser.
30-15.
Was pushed by Morrison, his fellow countryman, in a very, very tight 3-set contest. 6-4 in the third.
Net.
For a more comfortable time of it against Thomas Johansson in the quarterfinals.
Well played. I tell you what, he's kept his temper in check very well, Marat Safin. That's the danger with Roddick, isn't it? Every time it gets a bit tight, he's managed to squeeze out a big serve.
Game, Roddick.
So a solid service game.
One
Serve
game on.
chiming in just under 190 kilometres an hour. 1-all, second set. In fact, both players en route to the semi-finals have dropped a set. Marat Safin was pushed to 3 by Yuri Vanek, the Czech Republic player. That was in the second round, and then he overcame Flavio Serreta, the Brazilian, in straight sets.
pushes this one long. Good serve.
Safin holds firm
Safin leads 2 games to 1.
and has his nose in front, leads 2-1 in the second. Just seems to be adding other elements to his game now, but the bar has been well and truly raised by one Roger Federer. That's the area that has seen the biggest improvement for Andy Roddick off the ground.
And of course off the backhand more than the forehand even. And the slice backhand, which got a help from Brad Gilbert.
Guided long by Safin. Well, we know Brad Gilbert. He won 20 titles in his career. Reached 4 in the world back in 1990. He actually put out a book, VJ, called Winning Ugly. So, do you think he's got that sort of personality that complements Andy Roddick's approach to the game? I'm not suggesting anything by that.
I have to admit I haven't read Winning Ugly because I don't suppose that's the way you should be winning.
No, that's probably not the way you play it, I would say.
He's come out with some other book about coaching as well now.
Yeah.
40-15.
But Gilbert was one of those players who was very economical. He sort of was in the top 10. He played the other person in a way where he brought his standard of tennis down to your level and then beat him.
Yeah.
That's what he called winning ugly.
2 games on.
He did it well. There's Ken Marson in the back and with the jacket on, the orange shirt. That's Andy Roddick's agent with SFX, based in Miami, Florida. And the trainer on the right, with the round neck blue T-shirt.
Well, you mentioned early on that with Brad Gilbert in his camp that there's a lot said. Well, you add his agent in and you can see why Andy Roddick's quietly spoken. He can't get a word in.
That's right. Have you heard his agent?
Yeah.
Mile a minute.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to see his agent and Brad Gilbert chat with each other. Well, that's the bad news. The good news is his agent said to me that he'll probably make about 10 million.
Oh, he's
in endorsements and exhibitions, of course.
Certainly an enormously marketable commodity, Andy Roddick. Oh. Thought he was going to make that. Just an inch away from catching the line.
Here's the approach shot. Andy Roddick still well behind the baseline when he struck that, about 6 inches wide. See the reaction from Roddick. Good serve.
Solid game by Safin. Good backhand. Well, and that's the first bit of fire we've seen unhinged from Safin.
15 left.
Seen a number of rackets broken throughout the week.
Here it is.
Thailand Open.
Left.
I think he chose the wrong point to throw his racket down, didn't he? It wasn't an easy ball by any stretch of imagination.
Early in the game as well. And Roddick follows up with an ace down the tee. When he gets a swing at the serve, he'll take his chances, Safin. That was sliding away from the forehand, making the return very difficult. 30-15. This match just shy of 1 hour now. 59 minutes.
Yeah, for certain.
Yes.
Roddick.
It's tremendous wrist snap at the top of the ball toss. Andy Roddick on the service.
3 games on.
Gives him that angle, as well as it cuts away when he hits the wide serve in the deuce court. So very quickly holding serve to get to 3-all. Yes.
There's some applause from
15 left.
Andy Roddick. Disguise on the drop shot was superb there from Safin.
Another good service.
30 left.
Take that, he says. If you can hit one off the backhand with pace, I can do the same off the forehand. It's a ripping shot from Andy Roddick. Still a couple of game points for Safin. Serve safely held by the big Russian.
Safin leads 4 games to 3.
Leads 4-3 in the second set. Of course, the winner will meet Roger Federer in tomorrow's final. Of course, Safin lost to Federer in the Australian Open final in straight sets. And Roddick was in Federer's wake at Wimbledon.
30 left.
Well, Steve Ulrich hasn't said a word yet, has he?
Well, there's been a couple of rackets, Vijay, absolutely obliterated throughout this tournament. Completely disfigured beyond recognition. And the umpires have been reticent to even warn the players. Has there been a change of in the ruling towards code violation?
None at all. None at all.
What's going on?
Well, it's a...
Are they just exercising some flexibility?
Discretion, exactly.
just took the pace off it and rolled it across court. He's played Safin quite intelligently,
4 games on.
knowing that the big man struggles to move forward on occasions.
Well, the racket, he might have done more damage than he wanted. So rather than changing the racket, which gives Ulrich the chance to give him a penalty or a warning, he's continuing with the soldiering on with that racket.
Just long.
Love 15.
He has a good look at the line, but it's about a couple of inches long. Crowd now getting behind Marat Safin. It's crunch time for the big Russian. Crucial 9th game.
Oh, he's missed it.
$15 all.
I'm not sure what Roddick's complaining about. That was well wide. Perhaps an earlier call in the rally.
Well, he had his hands up back there already.
Wow, can see it. I mean, it wasn't really close and it was going slow.
What he's saying, VJ, was it was on Ulrich's line, and if he was ever going to overrule, it would be.
Right, because that would be too much common sense if both players see it out or what?
I really don't know which ball was in question there, David. It was because the baseline call was in, looked like. Uh-oh.
15 all, 4 all, second set. Well, both players like volcanoes just about to erupt. Roddick.
He's still looking at the line, isn't he?
Absolutely. It's playing on his mind.
Dying out here, you're missing call.
Some resolve shown by Marat Safin after being under threat. He holds serve. Leads 5-4 in the second set. Fantastic Saturday, semi-final day in the Thailand Open.
Roddick is serving to stay in the second set.
Oh, he's fallen over. Well, lost his footing after playing a decent backhand volley. And as a result, Roddick's gone cross court for the winner.
But I think he held off on the ankle here, I think. Oh. That's what happened, but hopefully it's nothing serious. Oh, he buckled, didn't he?
Almost went back on his heels. His right shoe. But he's okay.
It's a big man as well. Yes, fine service. Gets a lot of action with the wide one in the deuce court, Roddick.
All the pace taken off, 160 kilometres per hour, that serve. And then 213 is the follow-up. Thank you very much. Look at that.
Unbelievable.
Probably the second or third fastest serve of this match for Andy Roddick. 5-all, second set.
Well, this man has certainly had some chances on the Safin serve, no question about it. He's just playing a lot more solid and consistent on the opponent's serve. Nice serve.
There's just as much support for Marat Safin as there is for Andy Roddick in the stadium.
Oh, the choice of shot there. Got caught in no man's land, Safin. They're down the line wide open. Yes, well done. Good wide serve to open up the court, and then moving forward in to cut the off forehand.
Jumping around the frame of Roddick's racket, 194 kilometres an hour, and 2 game points for Marat Safin.
No.
There's a couple of times he's gone for that angle, and he threatens to throw the racket down, I think more as an effect to the crowd. I think they're expecting that racket to be cracked any second.
Yes, well done.
Serve safely held. Another one at 194. And
crucial first point for the Russian. Oh, well played. That was a big point.
15 on.
Went behind him beautifully after this fine service. Caught him completely on the wrong foot. There's one down the tee.
30-15.
there was some heat on that first serve. 13th, 8th for Andy Roddick. Wonderful volley.
Even he can't believe it. Oh, I tell you, he stayed firm though. He stretched well for this backhand volley and then kept the wrist locked in and then let the racket do the work.
Another one down the tee. And the 14th ace for the A-Rod as he forces the second set into a tie-break.
So 32 minutes of some high-powered tennis. No break points in the second set. This time Safin will open up the tiebreak.
Maybe trying to erase the memories of the first set tiebreak. Marat Safin. It was a stroll on the park for Andy Roddick.
Oh. 1-0, Safin.
Oh, he picked the right way.
Well, it was a very, very good move from Safin. He picked the right side here and then rips the forehand right at Roddick, forcing the error. See here. Justin. Too good.
Safin.
So, both serves against the server, and a commanding lead in this tie-break for Marat Safin. Marvelous forehand there from the Russian. Makes no mistake with the winner. 3-love. Into the body.
Well, the Thai fans are urging this one into a third set. The mood has swung towards Marat Safin, who leads 4-love in this second set tiebreak.
So a marvelous ace there from Marat Safin, and it's going exactly like the first set tiebreak, isn't it? Except it's going the other way. 5-love for the Russian.
Roddick next needs to get on the board. And he won't hear 6-love. So everything going right for the big Russian.
6-0.
Tate kept Roddick in the point there. The fans saw the lighter side of that rally.
Here's the one that went out into the alley, swung itself back in. Roddick was back in the point. He did have the down the line there, didn't he? And then Safin closes it out with a forehand winner. 6 points to love for Safin. A whole bunch of set points.
Caught the edge of the line. Roddick doesn't contest the call, and this semi-final is level at a set apiece.
1 set off.
An hour and 20 minutes. The plot thickens. Will it be a rematch of the Wimbledon final, or will memories be generated of the Australian Open final where Marat Safin met Roger Federer, who's already through. It was a ripping first semi-final, both going to 3 sets now, VJ, so entertainment guaranteed on Super Saturday in Bangkok. I know that they call that at the US Open Super, or was that
Absolutely.
Super Sunday?
Super Saturday.
Oh, Super Saturday.
You're right.
Maybe there can be a Bangkok equivalent.
Well, this was it.
Yeah. It's a wonderful study, this match, of just the slight ebb and flow of advantage two very evenly matched players can gain at crucial times too, because nothing separated them getting into both first and second set tie breaks, and then suddenly just one goes off the boil, one picks up their game.
Yes, incredible. Third set, Roddick to serve.
Love 15.
Oh, so right off the bat here, trouble for the American. Love 30 on the opening service game. Momentum slightly in favor of Safin.
You can tell in his body language too, Roddick is one agitated individual at the moment.
15.
Questioning just to see how far it was out. Safin. Steve Woodward quickly giving the distance. Ooh.
Well, he thought it caught the edge of the line. Looked to be out from our angle. Very close.
Half in, wasn't it? Might have touched the line.
Well, Safin keen to keep his man on the canvas. You can see chatting away, wanting a chance of a break in his first game. Again, Roddick looks at the chair umpire in slight bemusement.
Oh, he missed it. So after quite a while in this match, the player has a break point. Safin with a real look here. 30-40. Oh.
That's one way to get out of trouble. Bludgeon your way out. Yes. Very heavy second serve, 199 kilometres an hour, VJ.
Unbelievable. We did have his hand on the ball there. Take a look at this again. Look at this. Oh.
Just practicing some racket gymnastics. Floating wide on the racket of Andy Roddick.
Yes.
So Juice gives Safin another look.
Just getting a bit tired, I get the feeling, Roddick. Yeah, still good.
Good volley. Well, we remember that Safin's been in this time zone for 2.5 weeks now. Roddick had a very long trip to get to Bangkok.
Net.
No. Tough shot to go for. He was backing off when he played it.
Sometimes an indication that the fitness is fading. Shot selection going.
It's a crucial game for Roddick to hold. Great second serve.
Advantage Roddick.
Forehand error by Safin.
First game, final set.
Roddick
New
to
balls.
hold serve after a struggle in the opening game of the third set.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder as a courtesy to players, please don't use flash photography. And
So 76% first serve for Stafford in the second set. Roddick just a 58%, 5 and 4 on the aces, just a 1 double fault, unforced errors. Look at that, break points 1, none. Incredible. I think the big difference there might have been that 76% first serves for Safin. Winners 6 and 4, unforced errors 7 and 5, so they kind of evened out there, but it came down to the tiebreak. 7, love.
Serving with new balls, trailing love 1 in the third set.
Oh.
Love.
Took the second serve and came in here, Andy Roddick, but Safin coming through with the passing shot. See the applause from Roddick.
Errant forehand. You'll want to maintain the pressure on Roddick.
Good serve.
Got a lovely rhythm on his service action today.
Yes, he certainly does. He has a beautiful motion. Can go either way with it.
Steered long there by Andy Roddick, so 1 all.
1 game on.
Third set. Remember, Roddick has had 4 tournament victories in 2004. Finished, well, looks like he'll finish the year number 2 on the Champions Race. Leighton Hewitt is pretty close to him on the points. Hewitt will play Japan next week. Roddick will head home. And Safin at the moment tucked away on 8th place. With Andre Agassi breathing down his neck for that final place in the Masters Series final in Houston. Out. And I think Safin was frustrated. Flash camera midway through that rally. Noticeable to everybody in the stadium. The umpire a couple of times has asked for no flash photography to take place during the rallies. Display of serving here by Roddick.
Just wide.
40-15.
marvelous crowd here, staying into the 4th hour of this afternoon session. Saturday semi-finals.
Game Roddick.
So the game held by Andy Roddick.
Games to 1.
The American leads 2-1 in the 3rd set.
Eeriness, no question. So serving at 1-2. Safin, final set.
Positive way to start. More than useful reply from the 6'4" Safin, just smacking the serve down the tee. 12th ace. Make that number 13 now.
Both players have served extremely well in this match, which they've had to do to keep up with one another.
Overcooking the forehand. Roddick trying for the winner pin well behind the baseline. Good display of pressure serving by Marat Safin. So 2-all, 3rd set.
2 games on.
An hour and 35 minutes has elapsed in this semi-final. I mentioned before, VJ, about the Davis Cup and how the United States are in the final. Well, a significant build-up before the semi-final against Belarus. Andy Roddick invited the US team over to his expansive house in Austin, Texas, for a bit of R&R and motivation before the final.
Do any practicing?
There was probably a bit of practice, but speaking to one of the American journalists, also a lot of team bonding as well. Patrick McEnroe was there. And certainly his heart very much in the Davis Cup. Andy Roddick with the Americans to face Spain in the final.
15 on.
He didn't quite get up to the ball, Safin. He had a chance at the pass.
30-15.
Well done. Open up the court for the first forehand.
40-15.
Got a stride now from Roddick. The body language. Oh, great second serve. Andy Roddick holds on and stays ahead 3-2 on serve, final set. I think he's still going to have those temperamental outbursts, no question about it. You don't want to lose that individuality about you if it's within reason. But at the end of the day, I think he's maybe grown up. 2-3. No break of serve just yet in this match. After almost 2 hours, an hour and 53 minutes, hour and 40 minutes, excuse me.
Those ground strokes are very close to the line.
So now love 30. That's the one that's been called long.
Oh, that's a wonderful
that's a
touch.
Magnificent pickup from Safin. What a point, but he was really under the gun here on this half volley. That is a magnificent pickup.
Shows the right time to produce some magic at the net. Still down 15-30. Well, that was a study of persistence by Safin, who was on the back foot the majority of that rally. Good patience by the Russian. 30 all. Well, it was the angle that did Roddick there.
Well, I keep thinking, David, that Roddick is so far behind the baseline and he keeps backing off. And as soon as the ball is slightly short as it is there, he's got so much court to cover. Love 30 to 40-30.
Fair forehand. Maybe one born out of frustration after being 30 love up. Deuce. Roddick still with a chance. That's what's called a slap forehand.
It certainly was, but he decided he was going to take a chance, I suppose. But he did have success earlier in the game about hitting the second serve and coming in. Bit of a tired shot that was. So another point for 3 all for Safin.
A low percentage shot by Andy Roddick. So he shrugs off the challenge, Safin. It's 3 all in the deciding set. A couple of tired looking shots in that game by Roddick.
Definitely, David. I think that he is weary. There's no question about it. And Safin certainly looks the fitter of the two. Comes down to a couple of points here and there now. Missed it.
15 love.
He had Had a good look at that approach shot.
Wide by Andy Roddick. Crucial 7th game. With that for a scoreline. A set apiece, 3 games all and 15 all. Sums up wonderfully the state of the match.
30-15.
Errant forehand. So Safin beginning to spray a couple of shots as well. Now a nice cushion for Roddick to hold serve.
Just slowing down the American a little bit.
Huge first serve beyond 210 kilometres an hour.
Roddick leads 4
And a
games to 3.
4-3 lead for Roddick.
Time.
Roddick leads 4-3 to games on serve in the 3rd set. This semi-final being brought to you across Asia on ESPN Star Sports and all across the world. Tennis Channel in the United States and our friends in Europe as well. It's a very, very prestigious event. You've got the world's best 2 players in a 32-man draw. An elite field. Top 4 seeds got through to the semi-finals. And the first one through, the world #1, Roger Federer. Oh, Roddick wouldn't want too many punishing rallies like that. Safin moved his opponent all across the court.
Well, he had a chance there, Roddick, on the forehand.
30 love.
Went for the line. Went too close to the line with that forehand down the line. 30 love.
Oh, he was walking before the serve went past him almost. Well, that's the impression you got anyway. Two aces to close out the game for Marat Safin, and he's looking strong. It's 4-all.
4 games
Serve
on.
timed just over 170 kilometres an hour, but well, there's nothing in the score, is it? 2 tie-break sets and 4-all.
Well, David, you have to say that both these players have really stayed so firmly on course with what they do well, and they've done it extremely well. Except for the very first games on each other's serves where they were down a break point, I think might have been it.
Oh, some decent hitting from the back of the court by Andy Roddick.
15
Thought
love.
he was fading. Think again. Coming with a couple of huge backhands in that rally.
Still serving aces. Hour and 50 minutes into this match.
Net.
How about that for a reply? When Safin thought he may have had his opponent on the ropes, Roddick stretched out with a wonderful forehand.
Well, this was on full stretch here from Andy Roddick. He had to go for broke, and he did. Creating enough pace. Forced the error.
Oh. Well, that's 4 or 5 times he's had Safin moving forward. 4 or 5 times he's won the point, as Roddick enjoys a 5-4 lead in the third set.
Love.
On the menu is one Babolat racket.
Exactly. Well, frustration will always creep in when players haven't broke serve, because 2 hours, you figure you're going to break once at least. So just shanked the return a little long, Roddick. Yeah, well done.
Again.
Saw him move by the corner of his eye. And so there we are. And still no break of serve. 5-all final set.
Remember that Roger Federer, VJ's got a double semi-final to play, so any advantage he would have gained in playing first may be negated by spending some energy in the double semi.
But he seems fit and well and strong and rested. He'll come back very strong in the final tomorrow.
15 love.
Great serving there by Roddick. And of course the final is at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, also live on ESPN Star Sports and all the way across Asia and the world.
Oh,
His face
a moment
tells
of,
it all.
yeah, a moment of fear for Andy Roddick. It's a huge thunderbolt above the stadium.
Incredible.
A very large electrical storm yesterday, last night. They've been producing some thunderbolts of their own on the court. 40-love lead to Roddick.
So an error from, a couple of errors rather from Roddick. 40 love to 40-30.
And the Thunderbolt rocks the stadium above. First serve sees Roddick hold serve and 6-5 at service in the decider. Safin trailing 5-6. He can be level at 6-all.
Looking for a call there. Andy Roddick didn't come. Safin trying to push this into a tiebreak.
Loose forehand on Safin. These players have met twice in 2004. Indian Wells, both on hardcourt. Indian Wells, Roddick won straight sets. And at the Australian Open, it was Safin in 5 in the quarterfinals.
30-15.
So both of them have really served exceptionally well this match. Not just the aces, but also the unreturnables. The high percentage of first serves in, both aces even, 17 apiece.
That was almost an unreturnable. Didn't get much on that. So this is heading for a tie break.
So a marvelous point from both players. And Roddick,
6 games all. Final set tiebreak.
half-hearted attempt at the volley. And so 3 tiebreak sets to decide this match. An incredible effort from both players. Great ovation from the crowd. If you look at this last point there, Roddick to serve, 6-all final set.
Just over 2 hours
1-0,
of hard attrition. Comes down to a third set tie break.
It's terrible, isn't it? Comes down to a couple of points.
If you can split the difference, Roddick dominated the first tie break. Safin the second. Maybe he'll go neck and neck for the third. Not with shots like that, though.
He took a chance, didn't he, on the forehand?
2-0,
And fortune favors the bold here, as Roddick gets a look at the forehand opening and then goes for it. Kept the shoulder down beautifully to struck the winner. The mini break in hand, and look at the second serve.
Okay. Oh, great aggression by Andy Roddick. Pinning Safin beneath the baseline or beyond the baseline and coming up with some very heavy forehands and backhands.
Well, right here, this was a very tough shot. Roddick went for it, forcing the error. So, just as Safin did in the previous tiebreak, Roddick now 3-love up. Oh, he had a look at it.
4-0.
4-love for the American.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's all unraveling very badly for Marat Safin. A couple of unforced errors, some sensational play by Andy Roddick in this tiebreak. And suddenly the American has raced out to a 5-love lead. One frame gone and another racket brought into play. It may be too little too late for Marat Safin, who shaking his head in such an epic contest.
Thank you.
Called just out. So Safin on the scoreboard in this third set tiebreak. But Roddick very much in the driver's seat. Has to be a monumental fight back for Marat Safin from here. Third unforced error in the tiebreak, and now a bunch of match points to the world's number 2. One mini bait back for Marat Safin.
Roddick.
Almost a forehand in frustration by the Russian. And at the second attempt, he comes through. So he dominated the first and third set tiebreaks, and that was enough to get past again world number 8 Marat Safin. In 2 hours and 4 minutes, Andy Roddick is successful. 7-6, 6-7, 7-6. And he'll meet Roger Federer in the final. So the world's number 1 and 2 will do battle for the final of the Thailand Open. And that in itself is a tantalising prospect. Well, Marat Safin thrilling the fans, distributing some of his gear and leaving the stadium with many fans here in Bangkok. He's put on a marvellous display in the semi-final. But in the end, it was just the composure and the risk-taking in a calculated sense of Andy Roddick in the third set. VJ's now with the winner.
Andy, great match. What was going through your mind in that third set tiebreaker?
You know, I was just going to try to be aggressive. He was the more aggressive person in the second set tiebreaker.
The tennis champ.